Okay, everybody. Enrique Sultano here. And I'm talking about the word. The word is infinity. Um, oh my goodness. No, I don't know what I want to talk about today, but I wrote it down. So, um, all right. I remember now. Okay. So I'm talking about the word is infinity. And oh my God, we have to talk about my college English teacher, right? And I had a couple good ones, but my first college English teacher, I think his last name was Sailor, maybe I don't know, but he and again, what my favorite English teacher was in Animus Schools. I love that. I love that woman. You know, she's my favorite English teacher. But after her, definitely would be this college teacher from University of Dallas. It was in freshman year. I took this was part of the curriculum that you had to learn. So it was like English 1 or something. Um, and he taught the Odyssey and the Aeneid, I think it was. You know, and I personally think he did a glorious job. And I was just sitting there in that classroom, and I was just thinking, oh my God, like, all of these plebs in here do not understand the brilliance of this man. Like, oh my God. Um, I felt bad for him because he was just like spitting out all this brilliant truth. One time he started talking about the ridiculousness of like people are in the middle of a battle and they're having like conversations with each other. that's that's pretty fucking ridiculous. um, but all these stupid men read these stories and they're just like, oh my goodness, he said this against him, and then he said, it's like WWE basically. And but and he was giving a brilliant interpretation to the whole thing, right? I think. But yeah, I have to definitely mention this guy in my uh, why I like the word, right? The word is infinity. He was an influence on me. I mean, one of the influences on me was like when I just was sitting in his classroom, he felt like I sounded, um, and and I would write for him, and it was funny because like this guy had long hair. He was a white guy with long hair, and from what I hear, he was accused of going to college parties and disguising himself and hitting on the college girls, right? And so he was accused of this, but like in my mind, that's not an accusation. That's like hell yeah, like what a man, right? Um, but I don't know the story. Like you'd have to look it up, I guess. But he was one of the teachers that came up to me, and like I'm this nerdy little kid in just at the beginning of college, right? I'm way too serious. And I'm serious about the stuff he's teaching us, and so I start writing this shit, right? And like all my shit, it sounds stupid to the average idiot, but he loved it. He came up to me like he was one of the guys, and I was so excited about him coming up to me because I just loved his lectures, and I loved everything that that he was saying. Um, like when he was teaching me about Odysseus, right? He taught me about the island of effeminacy, right, and how they had everything, and how Odysseus was more glorious because he struggled, right, and I could really feel that coming from him, emanating from him, right. Um, like it can be a struggle to be a badass when everybody's calling you an evil man, right? Because you're trying to have sex with college girls. But that's the dream of like every man, right? Totally. Um, but if everybody's like accusing you, and being against you, then this guy was my hero. He was. I love you. Um, you're in all my English teachers. You're second. You're my English teacher from Animus. My beautiful little witch. She was my favorite, and she was powerful too, just like you. Um, but oh my God, I was totally psyched about. I really felt this belief in Odysseus, right? That the more beautiful thing is the struggle, rather than gaining all the glory of so-called victory. Um, yeah, no, and I remember, I remember one time coming out of classroom, and he was coming up to me, and he was wanting to talk to me, and I just felt so awesome and amazing, and we were walking through campus, and he was talking to me, and there was a lot of people who probably didn't like him, but I was so proud to have him by my side talking to me. I was like, wow, this guy's really wanting to talk to me. I felt that way with my philosophy professor too. It was it was Dr. Woods, I believe his name was. I forgot his first name, but his last name I believe was Woods. And I wrote my thesis, and the two guys who graded my thesis didn't even read it, right? So I was like totally disappointed, and they basically gave me a C, and I'm like reverse Uno card. I'm giving you guys a C, but they didn't see it, um, and I was totally disappointed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like tens of $1,000s in debt, and these two idiots are grading my shit. So I was totally disappointed, and I went to class one day, and there was the professor there. He at one point was the head of the philosophy department, and I had a lot of respect for him. I loved his classes. He was the structured curriculum type guy. But I loved his classes, and I struggled to understand and stay ahead. Um, Philosophy's not my thing. That's why I studied it, because I wanted to strengthen my mind. I got a good imagination, I think, but I wanted to strengthen the philosophy part of my mind. And so I really enjoyed his classes. I struggled though, right? And this was after our theses, so this was after those two idiots had graded my thesis, and I was totally humiliated because I quote unquote spent all this money that I didn't have. But and so I was totally disappointed, and I went to this guy's class, and he did the class, right, and we're all getting up, and this is the end of the school year, so everybody doesn't give a fuck. But he came up to me. He came up to me and he's like, "Hey, Gabriel, I read your thesis, you know." And he said he told me it was brilliant. He told me it was really good, and I forgot. I don't even have it right now. I looked for it in our files, but I don't have it. It was about the problem of evil. I remember that, but I forgot what I wrote. But this man came up to me and he told me he liked my thesis, and that made it all worth it. It did. Now, of course, at the time I'm a ninja, right? So I start acting like an idiot, because one of my heroes is Columbo, and so it's like, if you can't see me, then you don't deserve me. And so I was acting like an idiot. So I think I was like, "Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, that's great. Um, but yeah, no, it meant a lot to me, and so I definitely I like that guy. Um, so yeah, I guess I'll include him in there. This is Hakatushi signing out.